Peace, girlfriends. It's that time. It is that time for another interview on Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. Oops, wrong button. So let's see. Let's get on our guest for this evening. I hope you all are doing well. Has been a long day for me, but it's been a great day. Great day. You know, a lot of things that we do or don't do is all mental. So we just got to get our mental game on. So I had to get my mental game together and be like, okay, girl, come on, come on. But so yeah, it's time for another interview today. We have a special guest, and she is in Florida. Yep, she's coming to us from Florida. So we're going to give her a moment to get on and get all set. And you all, as you come in, let us know where you're viewing us from. Where do you homeschool? This is Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. And this, again, is just a platform. If you've not seen us before, well, I'll tell you all about us in a little bit. So if you've not heard of us, then you're going to be in for a treat. And I say us like it's many of us, but it's just a me. But I'll be happy to, I'm going to tell you all about it in just a little bit. And we're just going to give her a minute to get on. I'm going to get us all set up on this side of things. Yes, come on in, girlfriends. Probably many of you might be getting dinner together and all this kind of stuff. It's that time of the evening. Hey, Shakita, thanks for joining in today. Let us know where you're seeing us at. Hello, hello. So Facebook got some new stuff going on here. I got little bubbles at the top with faces. That is neat. Okay, I'm adding in Sharica. Hey there. Hey, girl. Hey, beautiful. Hey there. How's it going? Peace.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm grateful that this little flub blub that I had.
I kept checking my messages. I said, okay, she's going to be messaging me pretty soon.
Girl, it's been a long day, and I don't know, I put it in my calendar the wrong time, but anyway, I'm glad we connect and we are all set to go. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, I put it in my calendar the wrong time, 7:30, and then I looked at it online. I was like, oh, I got the wrong time. It says 6:30. And then wait a minute, let me go see our message. What did we say? Oh my goodness, I almost had I had a little panic attack. That's why I was like, oh my goodness, let me get on.
All right.
Hey there. I'm going to share it, and if you like to share it to your page and to any group, you'll be all set to do that. So just let me know when you've done so. Just refresh your page, and you should see us right on there.
Okay.
Hey, Janae, my friend, how are you from California? And Shakita for Danvers, Massachusetts. Very good. Good to see you all on here. We're going to get started in just a little bit.
Okay.
Yes. So what was so funny, I was just in the middle of washing dishes. So listen, I'm a homeschool mom and a mom and run a house and a farm and all that stuff. Went out and did clothes and come back about start washing dishes. And I was like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. Let me check and see if she's ready for me. What an interesting day. So whenever you're ready, just let me know, my friend, and we'll get going.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. I am turned up for another interview. I got to get my words together today. So it is that time. It's that time for another interview, and we have this beautiful queen here out of Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. Isn't that right, Jacksonville?
Yes.
Yes. So homeschooling mom, and I'm going to tell you all about her in just a moment. But just to let you know, if you're seeing us in your news feed, this is a platform which gives voice to the African homeschooling diaspora and those of the marginalized homeschooling. So this is where we say hashtag we homeschool too. You know, our kids are thriving. We are getting it done. We are taking the reins in our hands, and we're educating our own children and getting it done. So I am also a homeschooling mom of 8 children in South Carolina. We graduated 3. We're still homeschooling 5. I make our home in the northwest part of South Carolina, where we're homesteaders, my husband and I, of 26 years. And this is what this platform is about. Those who are homeschooling can get encouragement, insight, some new ideas, some, just a fresh wind of breath air from, these homeschooling moms who are doing it. And then those who are considering homeschooling and preparing for that, you can learn all the not to's and what to's and the resources to use and how to do it and how to schedule your day. You just get a lot of insight. So that's what we do here. So without further ado, Sharica, here's the question. Are you ready to make it happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good deal. Well, ladies, let me let you know, and guys, we have Sharica McGee, and Sharica is a stay-at-home mother of two busy boys, married to her best friend. They just celebrated an anniversary some weeks ago. Born and raised in Flint, Michigan, graduate of the University of Michigan with a concentration in science and health administration. So she currently resides in Jacksonville, Florida, where she's an entrepreneur, homeschool consultant with at McGee Homeschool Consulting, CEO and founder of the Red Rose Naturals, which is at www.redrosenaturals.com. Sharica enjoys her family immensely. Family vacations and simple family times are her most treasured moments. Spending time with her husband and their children is her primary focus. Her homeschooling style is eclectic with an emphasis on cultural competency. Being Yahweh is their foundation, she focuses heavily on their Hebraic culture amongst educational core subjects. Sharica encourages her children to engage in activities that interest them and suits their personalities. Outside of family, she enjoys nature walks, quiet moments, beach visits, exploring Florida, researching, reading, and biblical studies. So, Sharica, I had just told the girlfriends just a little bit about you. If there's more to share, please share. And then tell us how you actually got started in homeschooling.
Okay, well, we moved to Florida about 6 years ago now. My oldest son, he was 1 year old. We moved from Michigan to Florida. And at the time, I had just recently graduated from college, and I was ready to start my new career that I had worked so hard for. And so we got here, and I had 3 job offers. And with those jobs, there was one that offered a stay-at-home position, a working from home position. And from there, we got things set up, ready to go. And I realized I was looking to work outside of the home originally, but I realized quickly that I didn't really want to leave my son. I guess the primary reason was because we didn't have much family here, and I just really didn't feel comfortable taking him to this big daycare center, dropping him off. And so I decided to take the work from home position. From there, with that position, I was able to have my son home for a few hours while he napped, and then I would let the next door neighbor keep my son through the other hours. And so we had a good schedule where I worked about 7 hours a day. He would come home and sleep from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And every day, faithfully, he did that. And in the mornings, he would go to our neighbors. And so that worked out for a bit. I kept that job for about 8 months. Towards that end of that 8-month period, I guess I would say about halfway in, it started to become very stressful. And so part of the reason I wanted to stay home was so that I could, of course, be with my family more, work from home, and be able to still see my son. But with that position, it became very stressful, and it almost became even still like a 9 to 5. So after I would leave my workstation from home, I would have to prepare dinner and get the kids together. Of course, my husband was very supportive, and he supported me whether I stayed home completely and didn't work, or if I wanted to go out in the work field, he was okay with that. He had always told me that if I wanted to stay home, that was an option. But since I had recently graduated, he also supported my career path as well. And so towards the end, I was like, okay, I don't know. This seemed like it's still defeating the purpose. I'm still a lot of time was taken away from my family. Each day we were just planning for the next day, preparing meals ahead of time, and getting my son situated to go over to the sitters. It just became a bit much, and I started to become disconnected from my family because I was just focused on my job. And even the job itself was stressful. I took a position actually that was outside of my field to stay home. And so I went to school for science and healthcare administration, but this position that I accepted was admin technical support position. So it was a daily experience of dealing with customers that are having issues, and no one was happy when they were called. So that was just a lot of stress for me. I'm not really the person to, that's just not my thing, I think it works for some people, but it didn't work well for me. And so once I finally told my husband, I don't think I want to do this anymore, he was like, you don't have to. I'm happy to have you back. And so I put in my 2-week notice and I never returned. And from there, I didn't really know, I had all of these years that I had put into my degree, and I had all of this pressure, and people would make mention, well, you put all this work into your degree, why aren't you pursuing that degree? But now I have a son too. And so, and that was most important to me, but I didn't really have anyone around me that was doing those same things that I was looking to do, like stay home with my child and raise him and look after my family and things like that. And so, especially with our family values, with eating properly and stuff, and that kind of thing was going out of the window because it was hard to balance everything. And so what I started doing is looking into schooling options, and what other people were doing in Florida, were other moms homeschooling, and getting connected and familiar with some of the homeschool groups. And especially at the time, he was one, almost, I think he was about 1.5 by the time that position was over. And I started to join different play groups. And from there, I started hearing a little bit there about homeschooling. But it was still not many. Most people were looking forward to sending their children to the VPK programs. And so on my own, I just started doing a lot of research, reaching out to groups, different online organizations, just reading as much as I can. So now I think that kind of is the reason why today I'm very equipped to answer a lot of questions, because I've done a lot of research. And so that's kind of how I got to the point of homeschooling. Or first, the period before that was just deciding to stay home. So once I decided to stay home, and once my son became school age, that's when the whole school thing was really thrown out there, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then that's when I started doing all of the research as far as homeschooling. And then from there, we started doing a little preschool program from home, and where I was just, I had a little preschool curriculum that I found online. I was doing that with him, and that was fine. Well, around the time that VPK started, that's when my youngest son was born, and I decided to let him go part-time to VPK, thinking I would get a little break for a year, although I knew I would never allow him just to go to school. Well, we learned very quickly that it was not going to be an option for us. So we have our values in our home where, like you say, our Hebraic background, that's something big that we like to practice. And so that part was definitely missing. And it's hard to implement those things when your child is gone a chunk of the day as well. And so, although I still did supplement and do all of that. So from there, after he completed that program, it was a part-time program, and we let him complete it. We went ahead from there to fully homeschool him. And from there, we worked on teaching him to read. And so after we started the program with reading when he was 4. And so still after that point, after VPK, it's really the big, once you go to kindergarten, people are really like, well, aren't you going to send him to school, you know? And so I still have to reassociate myself with people and get familiar with all of the laws and things like that. And they say for every negative input or negative comment, you need 7 positive. That number varies of to rebuttal that. So for everyone that would make a negative comment or any type of negative input I had, I would just reach out to people. And sometimes it was just amazing how I would come in touch with some people that was homeschooling. My mother worked with someone and their children were being homeschooled. I didn't know these people, but I talked on the phone with the mother for an hour, and so I talked to her. I started finding locals here in Jacksonville. I would talk to them on the phone just to hear their story. I started borrowing books from the library, homeschool guides, just kind of giving me a layout of how it works and what kind of questions to ask, and trying to just really develop my like just a full layout of what it entails. And so that helped me to understand where we was at, the outlook on our homeschooling journey and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so you're very much a researcher, like to have all your duckies in a row and
Mm-hmm.
know this, know that, and just be able to walk in and like, okay, fully loaded, right? Is that your
Yes, you're never ever gonna be fully prepared. That's life, but it's one of the things I'm just big on researching. Is something that interests me, and so we still have to be prepared for, how life presents itself.
That's right. Yeah. So how was the first year when you actually got started? What was it like?
It still seems like we're getting started sometimes. We're still like putting it all together. And so now he's in second grade, and each year it's different. We add things in. It seems longer than that because we change frequently our curriculum. And so we'll add new things in, finish things, take those out, or if something doesn't work, we change it. It's just seemed like it's always new. And we're just always learning something new about homeschooling. We add those items in and discuss things just about life in general. So getting started that first year, I think with us joining the homeschool groups and having other homeschool friends, you kind of just create your own bubble, and you feel pretty secure in what you're doing because you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people and people that have those same values as you and understand you. So
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, that's huge. I say this almost every show now. You got to find a sister circle, get connected with
mhm,
those people who's going to encourage you and influence you positively towards that goal,
mhm,
of homeschooling because every day is new. I've been doing it for 18 years. Or I should say at least every year is a new year because you're living life, right, while you're
yeah,
homeschooling. So it's can be a juggling act while you have some surety of things. It's still a juggling act, right?
yes, hmm,
Yeah, yeah. So, what is something that's unique to your homeschool, Sharika? I mean, you've been doing it what now? 2 years? 3?
yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So,
Well,
what
starting
something?
was 3, we started doing curriculums with them. So I was really getting the hang of, okay, we're going to cover these subjects and things like that. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Is there something unique? Share with us something unique that's just the McGee family that makes us proud. This is what our homeschool does.
Hmm, that's a great question. Let's see. I know I'll have to come back to that one. Something unique. We do a lot of different things. We like to go out sometimes and just put away the lessons and kind of learn as we go. We'll go to a museum, ask questions, visit local stores, and kind of make that part of our homeschooling experience. We use a lot of gardening for science, outdoor gardening. And as far as our history, um, I think one of the things that I noticed quickly is that we couldn't separate history, um, our history, biblical studies, geography, all of that pretty much connects in our homeschooling journey because when we look at geography, we're talking about where we are now, where we come from, originate from. And then we'll discuss the other people in other parts of the country and how they have impacted us in our history. So it kind of all ties in. And so when I'm reading about even biblical stories, I'm showing him the geography portion as well on the map where this actually took place. So we really make it a live type of homeschooling. So we're able to kind of connect. And it helps me too, because with homeschooling, I think that's the part that a lot of non-homeschoolers don't grasp, is that we're learning as well when we're teaching the children. I know I am. So especially if you wasn't homeschooled yourself. So
Yeah, we're it's like as I say, regaining our education.
yeah.
You're learning all over again, some stuff you missed or you thought you knew. Maybe we knew it or we forgot it or we just never were taught it. So yeah. Take us to your worst day of homeschooling. I know it's been 2 years. Maybe your worst day of homeschooling where you really thought about quitting, like you're done. I can't do this. This is too much. But you didn't quit. And this is why now you're this amazing homeschool mom, almost 3 years into it. Tell us that day.
Well, for that question, I don't have just one day. I've had several days where I've called my husband and I'm telling him, hey, I don't know what's up with this guy. He's being crazy today. He's not listening. We're not on the same page. And I don't, I guess I never get to the point where I think about sending him to school. Maybe I have, but I realized very quickly that if he's getting on my nerves, then I know he'll get on others. So basically when I have those days, I just reach out to people, whether it's through text, message, phone call, and just try to vent to other homeschooling moms, my husband, and go from there. So that's why it's good to take those breaks for ourselves to kind of refresh, because we're going to have those days and moments. So.
Absolutely. So never a day where you're like, I'm sending him back or sending him to somewhere, but definitely days where you're like, okay, this is hard. This is hard.
Yeah.
This is
I haven't figured out
Say that again. What'd you say?
I said, I haven't figured out a plan B. I don't.
That's good. And that's good. Maybe that's the secret, homeschooling mamas. Don't think about a plan B. Just perfect the plan A, right? Just stick to the plan. Yeah. Tell us your most memorable day that, just moved your heart to tears. Like, this is why I homeschool right here. And it just erases the bad days, all the other crazy days. But this is why I homeschool right here. Tell us that day.
Well, early on, the biggest hurdle I came over is when he learned to read. When I taught him to read and he got it, that's when I felt very empowered. And I knew that, wow, if I can teach him how to read, then I know I'm capable of teaching him plenty other things as well. And so that time, we did the 100 easy lessons. So it took about a year. And as we completed that, or about 7 to 8 months, because we broke it up. We didn't do one whole lesson in one day. So as he completed that, and I started to see that I was able to teach him to read myself, that was a big moment for us, seeing him.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yes. That's like the biggest hurdle. What can I teach something? And to teach him how to read is like,
yes, like I did.
Yeah, I did it. I could do it. So girlfriends, let you know, this is Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. If you are just tuning in or finding us two melanated women in your Facebook feed. And here today I have Sharica McGee. She was with us back on, episode 45. And she has been so gracious to come back and do an interview with us all again. And so grateful for that. Thank you, Sharica. But you all be sure hit the share button. You
Mm-hmm.
just never know who needs to hear this information, who are starting their journey to homeschooling, wondering if they can do it, maybe doubting themselves, or maybe someone's in the thick of homeschooling and they're thinking, what in the world am I doing? What am I doing? And Sharica got some information and insights to share with them, to encourage them, to lighten their load and let them know, hey, we're in all this together. And so please hit the share button. It's on your bottom. It should be on your left-hand side. All right. So as we go to this part of our show, Sharica, these are some questions to pick your brain. We're going to dig in and just you can give us one or two answer sentences for this. But yeah, just to pick your brain a little bit. So what is your favorite quote, Sharica, that you say, or mantra that you say to yourself to help you through this homeschooling journey?
Well, it's a Bible scripture. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Yeshua who strengthens me. And so that's been one that I've stuck with for quite a bit. And that just kind of helps me settle in and refocus on the Father and know that He has provided the tools for me to get through the day or moment and situations. So that's one that I use quite frequently.
Absolutely. Do you plan to homeschool your boys all the way through to the end?
Yes, I do. I
Mm-hmm.
actually thought I don't have any other options, so this is it for now.
I like no other options. I'm just a no other options type of gal. I'm like, once you decide and you know that's where you're supposed to go and Yahweh is guiding you, then just like
Yeah.
dig in there. And I with the
Yep.
understanding,
Quit.
yeah, and don't
Mhm.
quit. Sometimes, life happens and some things may have to be arranged. And so we got to give ourselves, that room for that. But for the most part, stick
Yeah.
to. Is there, tell us something that's unique to your, did I ask you this already, to the McGee homeschool? I think you told us. What was that unique aspect for you all?
I was saying that with our curriculum, we combined a few of the subjects together, and we don't teach geography or history separately. They're compiled into one, so we kind of make everything connect with our Bible history, geography, and what's I saying? Bible history, American history, our African history, and our Bible history, and that all connects through geography as well. So when we're studying the Bible, or if we're studying American or African history, we use the geography portions as well to tie it in. So we don't study geography separately. We just study it through what we learn, as far as what we're learning biblically and as part of our history.
Gotcha, gotcha. So share with us a book or something that's in your library, a curriculum or a book that you have that you feel that's in your homeschool library that
Mhm.
you feel like every home should have
Mhm. This
in
is
their.
the one I recommend, Lies My Teacher Told Me.
Ah, yes.
And so this one I describe as being the woke version of homeschooling. It kind of opens your eyes and ears up to the system and how the system is designed, the school system, and how it can enable children in some ways. Of course, not all schools are like that, but this kind of helps you understand another aspect of why you may consider homeschooling.
And that's by James Lahen. Is that how you say that? Lahen.
Yes. hmm There's an audio version too. They have it at the library, and so I was able to get that once before as well.
Good deal. What is the best piece of advice, Sharica, you have received since you've been on this homeschooling journey?
That everyone's homeschooling experience is different. Your experience is going to be different. Your setup is going to be different. Everyone manages their time differently and have different views on what they feel homeschooling is like. Some people they use curriculum, some unschool, but it doesn't affect you and how you homeschool. So we can find great value in all of the methods, and so but we need to just focus on what works for our home and set that up, And so that's what I learned very quickly, is that a lot of people, every person I spoke with done things differently. And so one person encouraged me to set my home up the way I saw fit, and not, based on what others were doing.
Very wise. Yes, yes. Is there a favorite resource or app or online platform that you use and like to share with the girlfriend, Sharica?
Yes, there's a couple of resources online for curriculum sources. There's education.com, K12reader.com. A lot of people also use the Khan Academy. We tried it a little bit. And so those are curriculum ones. And then there's one called All-in-One Homeschooling. That's a very popular one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is there, other than the book that you mentioned, is there a favorite book that you found that has enhanced your homeschooling, or, a specific curriculum perhaps that you have fallen in love with?
Let's see. I don't know if there's a particular curriculum. So we use a lot of curriculums for various subjects. We kind of compiled things up. I thought originally that I would go with an all-in-one kind of curriculum, but we kind of compiled things. So for our biblical studies, we use a lot of the Bible pathways. And so that's a good resource for biblical studies. And then recently I purchased a curriculum from the Kefar website, KEFAR.com. That's a good Hebraic site as well for the children learning Hebrew or biblical knowledge as well. So for math, we use Math Mammoth. And then we add in our own manipulatives.
Great, cool, absolutely beautiful. That's excellent. So listen, we're on our last question, the $1 million question. Are you ready, Sharica?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, here it is. So, Sharica, if you had to start all over again to day one of your homeschooling journey, but you have your current wisdom, knowledge, skills, convictions, insights, what would be the first thing you'd be sure to implement in your homeschooling this time around, or be sure not to do this turn it around?
I would give myself more grace. Sometimes I think we get going and we have in mind what we want to get finished for the day, but at times it just doesn't work like that. So even till this day, I should still give myself more grace, because sometimes we have our agenda, but that's just not the way the day flows. So we need to be okay more with adjusting, because that's part of life. Life is you're gonna have adjustments. So if I was to start over, I would give myself more grace and not be hard on myself if we didn't get through a particular lesson that I was looking forward to. A lot of times I'm more excited, I think, to study something, and then I get disappointed because we didn't get to it. So that's what I would. Mm-hmm.
Anything you would not be sure not to do?
That's a great question. I think it's important not to compare your homeschooling journey to others. And when you're asking for me, when I'm asking for curriculum options or the best curriculum, I need to look to see if it's best for my child. I made the mistake of buying a curriculum that was okay for another family, but it was not okay for me and how I operated. And so also I think it's good to also realize that it's not just about what works for the child. It should be, I believe, some balance in between what works for you as well as the teacher. So there's some things that may have worked with my son if I kept, drilling it in him maybe, but it just wasn't my way of doing things. So it's good to have that balance as well, so that you can have a successful homeschooling experience, because I'm the teacher, they're the students or my children, and I'm rearing them in the direction that they should go. So we have to be able to work together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Well, girlfriends, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. In this hour right here, you've been hanging out with Sharica McGee out of Jacksonville, Florida. This is a homeschool mom of 2 boys. She's really new into homeschooling, couple of years, 3 years now into homeschooling. Just sharing some just common sense nuggets and wisdom and insight. So you all listen, keep up the momentum and connect with other sisters. Get your sister circle, like Sharica and I were just saying. Get connected with people who are going to encourage you out there to do what is in your heart to do, educating your own children, because you can do it. So keep up that momentum, find other positive resources, and then you be that positive influence like Sharica has given of her time and shared her insights and wisdom and positivity. It's a give and take situation. So be positive, hang around positive people. So Sharica, I just want to say thank you again, a second time here, for being on this show and sharing of your insights and your wisdom and knowledge. Just your calming. You are a great coach. You would be calm. You're so calm and relaxed and full of insights and wisdom to share. So Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling appreciates you and grateful to you for giving of your time, your wisdom, and your nuggets to share with thousands of homeschoolers who will hear this message. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. Now, girlfriends, as always, listen, remember, to teach a child is to touch a life. And as we homeschool, we not only touch a life, but we shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. So keep making a positive impact day after day and year after year. And like Sharica said, don't give yourself a plan B. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Keep on moving forward. You can do it, okay? All right. Well, you all connect with us on YouTube and Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling. Thank you for finding us there. Go over to the Facebook page, follow and like us there, and just share Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. Again, you just never know who needs to hear it. And so this platform is to give into the community, our African homeschooling diasporic community, to give, encourage, edify, and uplift, okay? That's all we do here, and that's all it will always be, okay? So until next time, thanks for joining us, and I see you on our next interview. Peace, everyone.
Bye-bye.